Chairman, and Mr. Jones, I'd like to ask first a couple of questions to you about EPA's position on Senate Bill 847. In your testimony at the Appropriations Subcommittee hearing at which you testified last week, it seemed that you endorsed Senate Bill 847 through your comments, but did not use the specific words of support or endorsement. And for that reason, I think we need to clarify where the EPA and the administration stand on the bill. Can you tell us whether the EPA has in fact taken a formal position on Senate Bill 847?
Senator Crapo, thanks for the question. The EPA nor the administration has not taken a position on Senator Lautenberg's bill.
Does the administration plan to do so at any time soon?
I'm not aware of any plans for a statement of administration position on that bill at this time.
Has the administration convened an interagency review of the legislation, or do you know if that is intended to take place?
The administration has not convened such a group.
All right, thank you. Also, just to move on to another topic, at your testimony last week before the Senate Appropriations Committee hearing, you stated that the EPA might have made a different pre-manufacturing notice determination in 1995 about the new flame retardant chemicals if TSCA had required the submission of more robust hazard exposure and use data to assess their risks. Can you explain to me a little more specifically what you refer to there that could have been provided but was not allowed to be sought under current statutory authorities?
So as I mentioned, the burden's on the agency to determine whether or not we think a new chemical meets the standard. And because we did not have data on the persistence of the bioaccumulation, we were using models that we had to try to estimate that. Unfortunately, for those particular compounds, those models proved to be ineffective, and so they did not flag the persistence in the bioaccumulation of the chemical. As a general matter, for chemicals coming in that are new, that are persistent and bioaccumulative, because of those two features tend to create problems over time, we insist on a much more robust health and safety testing. So had we known they were persistent and bioaccumulative, we would have required we would likely have required the manufacturer to have generated health and safety data before entering the marketplace.
But you had no authority to obtain that information?
We did, but as I said, if we don't know of the persistence in the bioaccumulation, and in this case our models were not good at predicting it, we didn't, because the practice was if you don't have persistence or bioaccumulation, we're not going to assist on the generation of that data.
So if the models were defective and did not tell you the information you should be seeking, but you did have statutory authority to obtain that information had you known, isn't it a problem with the models?
Well, one could say it's a problem with the overall structure. If the models are failing us across the board, that would put us in the position of requiring everyone to generate health and safety data before they're on the market. So
I guess what I'm trying to get at is what do we need to do statutorily to fix that problem?
We think that the statute needs to turn the burden around for the manufacturer to provide the agency the information necessary to demonstrate safety of the compound. And there are plenty of ways that can be done. You generally understanding characteristics like persistence, bioaccumulation, and toxicity is a key part of that.
TSCA Section 7 provides EPA the authority to regulate imminent hazards caused by chemical substances. Do you agree that that's a pretty broad authority under Section 7?
You know, I have to admit, Senator Crapo, I've not spent much time with Section 7 in my tenure at EPA, so I don't feel prepared to answer that.
Okay, as I review it, it appears that it's a pretty broad authority, and I'm not aware of whether the EPA has ever even exercised its Section 7 authority. Again, I'm getting at the question of what authorities the EPA does have now to achieve the necessary evaluation that you described. So I would appreciate it if you would provide me with further information after you get back with your staff. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Senator Merkley.